Right. Hey guys, how are you? It's Katie.
Hi, Patty. How are you? Oh, hold on. I wonder if I didn't do something. Yep, I did it. Okay. Hopefully that did it. Whew! I went on the public, on the YouTube. See if I can find ourselves so I can see who's popping in. Dink. No, that's not it. I swear this is being so wonky. Ouch. That was a bad knee pop. Snack, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies. Let me know when you're here. Being so wonky. Hmm. Did this last week too. Hi, Stacy. Oh, I don't know. Okay. So I've been working on some stuff and we're going to add to it. So tonight we're going to do a little fake baking. How much glitter's on this? Oh, dear Lord. There's glitter on everything I own. I can't help it. There we go. Bring it down so you can see what I'm doing. I've already been using Slick Stick and I forgot it doesn't come off your hands very well because it's too cold to spray paint. So what we're going to do is I've already started on our container. Ooh. If Pam is in, ladies, we're just going to go with it. It looks like that YouTube went public and that's perfectly fine. Hi Pam, how are you? We're just going to have to wing it or else I'll have to start everything over and I really don't want to do that. So we're going to do a little fake bake. These are actually, they're black when I got them. Um, they are the breakfast little dishes like the potatoes and the sausage and all that. So, breakfast bowls, that's what they are. But I put a coat of slick stick on it, which is for glass and stuff, so the paint will stick to it because normally I just use spray paint, but you know it's 20 some degrees. Might have got up to 30 today. We're going to put that over to the side, and we're going to do some foam clay. So we're going to need quite a bit. That might be enough. So you can tint white foam clay. Ooh, something got, I think it was the top part of the clay got hard, even though the bag was sealed. Foam clay will dry out. I've had that for a little while, so I think there we go. So it starts out, it's pretty, depending on the brands that you buy. I buy the Bose brand, but there's a lot of creators that, Glitz and Glue has her own brand. Laura Jean's Wreath Room, she has her own brand. There's lots of the creators that have come up with they're selling their own brand. Don't know where they get it from. It may be all from the same place. Who knows? Let's have a little bit extra hardness in there. But we're going to coat this. What we're going to make is a primitive faux cinnamon roll. So we're going to start with some antique white. And we're going to go, I should be using a light pale yellow, but we'll just use a little bit. It's called lemon. This is antique white, and that one's lemon. So basically, you're just going to fold over on itself. I already got white on my hand, so why bother with gloves now? Basically, you just knead the color into itself. That yellow might be too much, but I think it'll be okay. It is a bit messy when you do it this way. You don't have, you know, because they do make different kinds of colors of the foam clay, but I found another hard hunk. Must have been that top part of that. When I opened up the bag, I should have checked that. And because these are going to be primitive, the color isn't going to be, it's not, if it's too much yellow, it's not going to be a bad thing because we're going to put the coffee grounds mixture on there. How's that baby doing, Stacy? So see how it all mixes? Pick up any leftover paint off the mat. Awesome, that's good. Glad to hear it. So buy me some more white. Almost out now since I made this one. He is such a cutie. I know we as grandparents are biased, but he is cute. So just incorporate. It is a little bit yellow, but I think it'll be okay. So this isn't something that you have to roll out perfect. If you're more comfortable with rolling it out, we can do that. You don't want it super thin because, you know, if you make homemade cinnamon rolls, they have yeast in them, so they're going to rise. Well, this is fake, so it's not going to rise. Oh, it sticks to the paper. We got to stay on our mat. I should have got my bigger mat. Ooh, look at that. Let's see here. Where's a little scraper? So paper's not a good idea. There's lesson number 1. Okay. So let's try this over again. And you do want one end a little bit wider than the other, because you know when a cinnamon roll rises when it bakes, how the center comes up. Well, we got to do that now. And I learned how to do this from Tracy Campbell from My Sweet Home Living. Okay, so let's do this again. Might just pick up a little bit of glitter on the, yeah, oops. You know me, Patty, and we do lots of oopses. At least it's not sticking now. But we do want it pretty thick. I'd say maybe 3/8 of an inch. I do want this end wider. A little bit thick. Should have got my smaller rolling pin. It's all right. But we're going to start down on this end. That might be a little thick. See if this is big enough. Not as big as I wanted. Because we're going to put in this. We'll stick with that. And then the bottom part, we don't want. So we're going to chop that off. And it seems really funny if you've never dealt with the foam clay. It's really light. So this will go in here. Now, normally you would let this dry, and it may take a few days to dry. You put a little water on your fingers, you can usually smooth out any major dents that you have that you don't like. You know, but it's a cinnamon roll, it's food. It's not going to be perfect. It's got brown paint in it, which is fine. Because it's where I'm picking it up at. So normally you would want this to dry, and then you're going to put it in your pan. So where you put it at, whatever pan you put it in, it's there. As it dries, it will just like adhere itself to that is awful tall. It'll be all right. Okay. So we're going to pretend that this is dry. But what we're going to do first is we're going to set it off to the side. This is what they look like. They're black. And I have 2 huge totes full of junk. But I've been using my junk lately, so boy, shouldn't be unhappy. So I painted this with first, because I can't take it out and spray paint it because it's too cold. I painted it first with Dixie Belle Slick Stick. Normally, a lot of people use that on glass before they paint it, so it doesn't just wear off. You still have to seal it, but we're going to be using Mod Podge, so that'll do a lot of the sealing by itself. So let's start on the bottom. See, you got scrap, or that's where I was drying it with the heat tool, and it started to crack. So another oops. But she used antique white and a pale yellow, where I just had lemon yellow. So it is a little more yellow than it should be, but we're going to coffee grunge it, so we'll take a lot of that yellow out. So first, we'll work on the bottom, and I painted this like a caramel color, and we need our instant coffee and our Mod Podge. Paper towel. See. The one thing about primitive is, because even if you're using white paint, then brown paint, you know how you stick it in your water and it all turns brown? It's all going to turn brown in primitive anyway. I like farmhouse. I like more kind of the industrial farmhouse with the piping and whatnot. But I've decided to revamp my shop over here in town that is going to go all farmhouse primitive on most part. That's just, I don't mind making the primitive, and I like some of it. You know, I think I showed you my grubby jar. So this is primitive. This is a grubby jar. So a lot of people don't use used coffee grounds. That's what all these little bumps are. Make it look like it's got measles. But I kind of like it. I like the old rustic too. So this is kind of an in-between. So we're going to start with Mod Podge. And Mod Podge is a sealer. So we're in sense sealing it as we work with it. So this part has to be instant coffee. Doesn't have to be any, this is just a Dollar Tree. I did buy a bigger one from Walmart. So as you put Mod Podge in it, see how it just kind of disintegrates? Because, you know, in water, that's what instant coffee does. And then you get that grubby, dingy, rusty look to it. So job status, I went and did my fingerprints, my background check. I'm just waiting on everything to come back. Woohoo! My granddaughter's going to start high school. We got to go in, I think, tomorrow and look at her schedule. All that goodness. So that instant coffee will just kind of melt as you brush it back and forth. And then if you wanted some of the bumps, like on that jar I showed you, you can use used coffee grounds. So when Angela was here, she bought a little $10 coffee pot because she likes coffee. Well, my granddaughter likes the iced coffee and stuff. Yuck. But so she's giving me my coffee grounds. We put them on a plate, and then in a day they dry, and then I put them in a jar. So you have some that aren't disintegrating and you don't like it, just pull it off. I do keep a little jar of my decoupage, my Mod Podge, so because when you dip into, the jar, it'll get it all brown from working with your coffee. So I usually will not put my whole brush inside the coffee grounds. I usually pour them out on a little plate. There, I just got them in the lid, which is fine too. But it does all that brown streaking. Okay. And that's also a sealer at the same time. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to dry. I was trying to get far ahead with my stuff so I would have one that would be past this point so I could just move on, but I didn't get that far. And if you do have any coffee grounds that aren't dissolved, the heat will help dissolve them too. I don't particularly like the smell of coffee, but it's not too bad. Woo, hot plate. Let's put that in front of the fan. I'm over here testing something. So this was a can. I put one layer of tissue paper on it and then I coffee grunched it. But then I could still see the ribbing in the can and I didn't want that. So a while ago, this is paper towel and a piece of glitter. Surprise! So I Mod Podged. I think that's gonna do it, and I will grunge it and then put my stuff on top, my coffee grunge material, and I think that will hide all the ribs in there. So that'll be another something that I can coffee grunge. I think I'm gonna redo it. I don't like it, and we're just gonna. I want it bigger. I want it to be as big as the bowl. So we're just gonna add the rest of my white, and we'll add some antique white. While we got the paint in there, I'll use my mat. After you get it all incorporated in there, it's okay. I just, with the addition of that paint. There it is. So theoretically, if you just bought white foam clay, you can make it whatever color you want. Or if you know you had red and blue, you can make purple. Give you an arm workout. See, so now it got a little more paler. This is about the color that Tracy's was. So that was a good thing. Find my bigger mat. Okay. Let's try this again. I think what I needed to do was make it longer. It rolls out pretty good too. Okay, so we're going to start at our wider end. What's going on here? Oh, see, it sticks to itself. Nope. It is sticky. So I guess if you are rolling it and you need to unroll it, just gonna have to flatten it back out. That is one way it does not work like dough. Because dough, you can just unroll it. There's another hard piece. Must have hid last time. feel like I'm making noodles or pie. Glitter. Sorry. So I think I need to add this on the end. If it's too long, I can always... Okay, so let's try this again. It'll pick up every little thing that you have on your table. Okay. So remember, if you start rolling it, it will stick. Why not? Oh, here's the other side. Oh, that's too tall. Look at that. Well, we're going to get lots of rolling in. I was looking at the other side. It's hot. All right, let's try this again. I've got it too wide. We're going to try something. I think that one's smaller than my other one. Arm exercise, that's right. So what we're going to do is, let's see what it looks like in here. Oh, I can't get two in there. I wonder if I can just roll around it. I'm going to try that. I think it's too wide. Let's see here. Exercise. So if I start, no, I need to start there. Not exactly how Tracy did it, but you gotta put her own spin on it, right? Okay, so we're gonna pretend that that bowl is all done and painted, which it'll be just harder, but I can go back and paint it afterwards. Okay, so we're gonna pretend that our bowl is all grunged. I'm gonna get out some of the fingerprints. And like I said, they suggest that you dry, let the the foam, clay, dry, air dry. We'll get it right. And then do your painting and whatever else you're gonna do. But we're gonna do it now. Let's see. So remember we did the bottom. I haven't done that, but I think it'd be easier to do it this way. Okay, so here is my coffee grounds mix. It's cinnamon and water, instant coffee, vanilla. I put a little bit extra cinnamon in mine. And then I also have, if you craft with cinnamon, don't buy the good stuff, buy the cheap stuff. So we're going to sprinkle some cinnamon on here, like, you know, cinnamon's always down in the cracks. And cinnamon's also used when people want to make something look old and rusty. So here's my cinnamon and my decoupage. Oh, that was loud. So basically I'm just rubbing that cinnamon in. This is why I said it wasn't a major issue if the color of the clay was a little bit more yellow, because we're just going to dingy it up. But it will smell amazing. And then the bottom's got all the goop, and you're really supposed to heat it up. I forgot to heat it up. So here's just going to turn it that nice golden. Then we can also put some instant coffee in here. Went a little bit overboard. So I'm trying to do my bowl at the same time. Days to totally dry out. I didn't, we could thin down some water or white paint for the icing if you want icing on it. But that I would do, I can't do because it's not dry. I want all this cinnamon and stuff to dry. So does anybody like primitive farmhouse? Doesn't that look like a really huge cinnamon roll? Then you can go back and like be really specific about where you want some cinnamon. Try to get the little grooves where cinnamon and butter usually is. If you have extra, just throw it in the grunge jar because there's already cinnamon. I actually put a little extra cinnamon in there just because I don't like the smell of coffee. That would be my granddaughter. Her room's right on the other side of the doors. What'd you do? Yeah. Is that what fell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
I heard something crackling in it. Is something sparking? No, it's the heat killing off.
The paint's coming off the bowl right there. So we'll just have to let it dry and then I'll do extra layers. That's how I do the grubby jars. It's really about 3 layers of stuff. So it's not perfect. I gotta take a smaller brush and get down in there. Does it kind of look like a real one? Looks kind of pale on the camera, but it is a little bit darker. Looks like a huge cinnamon roll. Oh, I can smell the cinnamon. Cinnamon. Gotta wash that. Well, that's our project for tonight. After I get a couple more layers on it, I will take a picture and I'll probably drizzle some icing over it. I'll just use, thank you, Patty. I'll use some white paint, put just a tad bit of water in it so I can drizzle it. Then we'll drizzle, I'll probably put some extra cinnamon in the cracks. Like I said, it usually, when you do this type of stuff, it usually takes 2 or 3 layers. Like with the grubby jar, I think this was 3 layers. So you kind of just build up on itself. But thanks for coming and hanging out with me. Then I will show you. And have a good rest of your week. And I'll see you later. All right, guys. Night, Patty.